What's something 99% of people do wrong but have no idea? Argue. Modern media has shown us that being loud and throwing accusations around is the best way to argue. The amount of fallacies and angry vibes that I encounter when just trying to make a point is ridiculous. I see here a ton of red herring and straw man arguments as well. People not responding to actual claims being made, preferring to go off on tangents they themselves created. And then if they don't get their way immediately, they say you are just trying to win, despite never actually refuting your point or presenting a valid counterpoint. When you make a slight mistake in speech, a technicality, something irrelevant when arguing, and the other person zeroes in on it in an attempt to invalidate what you're saying. Great addition. It's a lot of, well, you said this, so therefore you don't know what you're talking about. As though one misspeak defines your entire set of knowledge. And as though the other person has never misspoken in their life. Fallacies and persuasive arguments are something I didn't get to thoroughly explore until I took a college course. Meaning that unless you took an AP course in high school for it, most people are likely not graduating high school with the skills required to have an academic discussion. That means that, for the layman watching a debate, the victor of an argument is whoever performed better in optics and populism. Facts don't matter, and that's how we got to where we are today. I semi-recently found this out. Some people don't even try to actually follow the conversation. A lot of dogmatic religious people do this. That's not the point, though. The point is that asking them to repeat what you just said, watching them fail miserably, and then asking them how you're supposed to have a conversation with someone that can't even follow the conversation can be deeply upsetting to them. I'm not sure if it's actually helpful, but it does make them doubt themselves. A state of thought I don't think they are accustomed to feeling very often. Brush their teeth. They got too hard and it erodes their gums, increasing decay. Guilty of this. Don't use much pressure. Dentists recommend electric toothbrushes now because they do good enough on their own if you just hold them against your teeth with minimal scrubbing action. My electric brush stops working if you push too hard. Great indicator. My girlfriend has this issue, but with flossing. Dentist had told her she's at risk of a few issues because her gum line is low around her molars and that she should be flossing more. Next visit, she's told she's flossing too often and too rough. The hygienist had to go over proper flossing technique with her. Drive. Edit. Wow, didn't realize this comment would blow up like it did. Apparently, about 80% of drivers think their driving is above average. That could still be accurate if the worst 20% really bring down the average. Honestly, yeah, that feels right. I don't notice most drivers, but I definitely notice some. One of my dad's favorite phrases is, "Isn't it crazy how no matter where you go, the worst drivers in the world follow you there?" Or, "Everyone going faster than you is crazy and everyone going slower than you is an idiot." Reading, and I don't mean in general, but for example, when a new law regulation is being considered, people don't tend to read the original documentation and just go by word of mouth. Same thing applies to policies, etc. It's hard to not be guilty of this. There are so many things we should read but don't have the time or brainpower to read legalese. The scary part is that lots of government officials don't even read the bills they sign. Buddy, I'm a lawyer who spends a hefty portion of my day reading laws and regulations, and I don't trust myself, much less laypeople, to properly read and understand every consequential piece of legislation or new proposed rules, to say nothing of analyzing and predicting the interplay it might have with existing laws and regulations, as well as how it would be impacted by existing case law or new judicial opinions. I think it's far better to have knowledgeable people you trust to fairly and accurately distill it down for the average layperson. I so appreciate this because sometimes I do try to find the original source myself to form my own opinion, but leave knowing absolutely nothing about it. Critical thinking. Have your own thoughts about things that are happening or that you hear about. Connect ideas together just for funsies. And compare facts with other facts. Critical thinking is when you don't simply take what you receive at face value. People seeing things that you don't aren't overthinking. They're simply thinking their own thoughts. They might be wrong, but it's good to practice anyway. Better than underthinking. Way better than taking everything at face value. Risk assessment. Busy worrying about low probability matters while ignoring high probability ones. If everyone in the US properly assessed risk, they'd be far more scared of cars and sitting, and far less scared of things like terrorists and sharks, for example. Yup, chances of your kid getting snatched by a stranger, almost zero. Yet you monitor the fuck out of them, when if they're gonna be molested, it's gonna be your relatives doing it. When my daughter was a baby, I was afraid of the implications of her receiving several vaccinations all on the same day. I asked the pediatrician if we could spread them out and she agreed. Later, I realized that we made 3 car trips to the doctor's office when we could have made one. It was much more likely that we would have been in a car accident than my daughter having a severe reaction to the shots. Interesting. Also 3 times the exposure to potential pathogens in the doctor's office. That's gotta be a close one though, as there may be some real benefit to spreading them a bit. The thing that baffles me the most for driving is when people willingly choose long daily auto commutes for slightly higher pay. Or ride an e-scooter or bike through traffic every morning. I vividly remember one of my college classes from 20 years ago. The professor addressed this phenomenon. He showed a chart of things humans fear the most, shark attacks, volcanoes, sinkholes, etc., versus causes of death. They were inversely correlated. Nobody is scared of heart disease, most common cause of death. But tons of people are scared of shark attacks. Like 2 people on Earth died from sharks that year. There's a little stick next to the steering wheel that moves up and down. When you move it, it illuminates a light on the exterior of your vehicle that informs other drivers that you're about to make a turn, reducing the likelihood of a crash. Me to the world. Nice signal, dickhead. I also make it a point to actively let people in who use their signal. It's a little reward for being good. I like to inform people that their blinker bulb may be out. Just looking out for you, so you don't get a fix-it ticket. Home maintenance. They either neglect it or do it wrong. Mostly the former, if I had to speculate. My husband does HVAC. The amount of times he's called out for a furnace that's not working, and it's literally the furnace filter, is astonishing. Go change your filters, people. I was doing handyman work during COVID and had many calls like this. My AC isn't working, so I go over there and the filter is caked with dust and hair. Same thing for filters in the range hood, but caked in oil and dust. Adjusting their vehicle's side mirrors. This is my favorite reply. I can't find the video that taught me how to adjust my side view mirrors to see everything that the rear view mirror doesn't show me by simply moving my eyes, not head, to the left and right side view mirrors. Wear airline neck pillows. The opening is supposed to be in the back. You know, where the backrest is. And you don't need more support. By wearing it correctly, your head will not be able to tilt forward and wake you up since the neck pillow prevents this. I'm looking at my fellow dudes here specifically, but boy is there a thing with not thoroughly washing. I always wondered why it seemed like I could never shower as fast as other guys I knew. It felt like there was some inscrutable life hack that I was missing where one could get fully clean in 30 seconds. Upon digging, I was horrified to discover that a lot of dudes simply don't wash their ass/legs/feet. They just let the soap run down their body and assume it's clean. The scrubbing is the mechanism that makes things clean, and the soap is just there to help the water do its job. And gents, I don't know what the hang-up is with your own butt. Just get up in there and scrub your undercarriage. That's one of the worst areas for odor and bacteria, and it's just so nasty that you'd think cleaning there is gross, but just wetting down the filth and drying off is not. Do better. When my wife and I first lived together, she also noticed that I took long showers. Not any longer than her, mind. And she asked about it. I explained that a lot of guys don't clean themselves properly, and I could see a wave of realization about other men before me wash over her. She has had zero objections to my routine as a result. Landscaping. Most houses/businesses landscaped where I am in the US are planted with non-native, sometimes invasive plants. They do nothing for our pollinators, birds and wildlife, and our pollinators are seeing a really big decrease in numbers. The real problem is habitat loss from farms and infrastructure, pesticide and drought. But people can fight back by planting native plants in their yard. Every little bit counts. Painting their homes. Stop dry rolling the wall FFS. If you have to push on the roller to get paint out of it, put some more paint on the damn roller. Roll all the way from top to bottom every stroke, or you'll see those random splotches in the sheen after it dries. Stop cutting around plates, take them off and roll right up to the hole. Pull your tape before the paint is cured, or it'll take chunks of paint off your corners when it comes off. And cut in the edges first with a brush before rolling. Otherwise, you will see brush marks texture. And keep brushes and rollers clean and wet rollers slightly before painting. Argue. The average person either doesn't know how to or chooses not to argue in good faith. For most people, it seems like winning an argument is defined by winning the audience or delivering the best roast. The majority of people, including me, will argue like dickheads because optics matter more than logic. Everyone has probably experienced losing an argument that they were 100% right about because the audience/other party didn't actually care about the logic soundness of the argument. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe, press like, and comment.